Italian
I'm
job.
feeling good, Tommy boy. I almost forgot who says what first. So it's been a
I
minute.
almost forgot your name. I got halfway through that sentence and was like, where are we? What year is this?
The good news is it's at the bottom corner of the screen. So that's how I'm going to keep track of who you are again, Tommy boy. Got it.
Note to self, learn to read. How the heck have you been, my friend?
I've been busy, dude. Summer
Yeah.
break has started. Kids are out of school, so there's all kinds of things going on. Plus, travel for work, which is new for me. You know, travel and visiting new places and visiting new packs. So really enjoying that. But you and I had our last get together was probably in March, April, May timeframe. We got together in your neck of the woods, had some conversations, some GrowSchool type stuff. But how have you been, buddy?
Just like you, been busy. We got a bunch of cool things that are happening with my mammon, just blowing up in Whitsett, North Carolina. A lot of growth, a lot of expansion, a lot of new hiring. It's just been really exciting to see how when you put somebody else in front of you and really lean into what it means to be a servant leader, and you're surrounded by others who feel the same way, man, we're just clearing obstacles for other people, and it feels great. So we're good. We've got a visitor coming in. Let's see, when this drops on Saturday, we'll have wrapped up Greensboro's Hymn Society meeting, which is a whole new part of F3 expansion and invigoration. I'm excited about that. And let's see, Greensboro has a new Nantan. So shout out to my boy, Robbie Eatman, also known as the Maneater. So we're rocking and rolling. Summer's here. Before we know it, it's going to be the end of the year episode. So glad to be with you.
Watch out, boys. He'll chew you up. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, one of my favorite things from one of my favorite regions. Anytime I'm given a microphone, I feel like I'll talk about Greensboro, I'll talk about Wichita, I'll talk about Omaha, I'll talk about Gold Rush, mainly because I've spent time with these guys and have been under the log with many of them through a GROWRUCK experience. And we all know, those of us who have been through that experience, you don't get out alive if you act alone. You get out alive when you act together. Lo and behold, we've got the guys from Wichita this week who have found a need and filled a need in their region that will surely be stuff worth trying. I know that as we lean into 2025 and beyond across F3 Nation, we're really pushing men and in their regions, pushing those regions and areas to find ways to have explosive growth through truly invigorating what it means to be a community leader. And so without further ado, if you'll allow me, we've got 4 guests today. Starting on my screen, we got Lucky Charms, we've got Flenderson, we've got A, and we've got Drive Through. Fellas, welcome to the Stuff We're Trying podcast.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Let's tone it down a bit, guys. Not so much excitement.
Thanks for having us.
So quick backstory, I met these guys at a GROWRUCK, a handful of them, and was just bowled over by their invigoration, how much they supported one another, but also sought out ways to serve anybody who looked like they were struggling. They also weren't afraid to ask for help when they needed it. Stayed connected. Lo and behold, at a future GROWRUCK event, ran into them again. Apparently they got wet because they multiplied and more guys showed up. Same exact experience, just really knocked it out of the park. If you're on YouTube and you like subscribing to great content, go out and seek out F3 Wichita's content. They retell a lot of those stories, but every time an alert pops up on my YouTube, you guys are doing something new. And then lo and behold, no spoilers, I guess, maybe spoilers, IJ and I are roped into some shenanigans you're creating in your region in September. So we're bringing you on today to talk about the Disruptor. And Flendy, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to kick us off with a little backstory on how this came to be. But before you do that, quick name-a-rama, if you don't mind.
All right. Josh Pierce, 43, Flenderson. I'm glad to be here. You want to do the whole crew?
Might as well. While we got to pause.
Let's get it.
Lucky.
I'm Brian Premium 41, Lucky Charms.
Jordan Wright,
Hey.
37A.
Drive through.
Domenico, 40 drive through.
You're
Welcome to the
43?
show, fellas.
43.
You don't listen much.
All right, Flendy, kick it off, buddy.
Yeah, so we have this vision for an event called Disruptor. This is a big core part of our crew here. And I think the conversations we were having, we all had done some pretty formative events, whether it's GROWRUCK or GORUCK Toughs, drive-throughs, I think doing like a 100-mile biking death challenge. And we had all talked about how formative those were for us and what big moments those were in our lives and how we could bring those to our region, but started looking at some just different maybe roadblocks for the men of Wichita, a lot kind of coming around fitness and cost and those things. And so we started ideating, how could we put on an event where it was accessible to everybody, cost-wise, fitness-wise, for the guy that's just showing up at our AO walking around and doing a few Merkins and a few things like that, to the biggest beast in. How can we make it accessible? And then really, how can we drive towards some deeper application coming out of it? And finally, like, what if we made an event guys wanted to do more than once? Because we did some of these events, like, man, that was great. don't want to do it twice. And so that's been the process we've been walking through, is how we go about taking those ideas and making it into reality. And so the goal was to create this event, and we call it Disruptor, because we want to disrupt where we're at, disrupt the status quo in our lives, and come out different with deeper friendships, deeper relationships, and pushing each other to keep growing.
So tell me, you mentioned it a little bit, talking about where this kind of the seeds were planted, so to speak. But what, who really is this for, besides just the guys who are everywhere in their fitness journey? What else are we disrupting, and who needs to be listening?
Yeah, certainly. I think our target audience is all the packs of Wichita. That's our target. We have a broader one than that, as others want to come in. But I think what we're really hoping to get into is in the men's lives who want to grow in their leadership, and their queen is going to be a really big focus, and then just the love and pursuit of those around them. And so that's our target audience. It's open to everybody. We have a few guys that are just starting to come out to F3 for the first time, and they're going to jump in and try. There's some salty old vets and everybody in between.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about the event, what it's going to entail, because you kind of talked about you tend to form bonds over hard things, doing the hard thing next to a guy. Those are the stories and the scars and the memories that you hold on to. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a little bit. But I'm very interested in when you say, it's going to be open to everybody. And that's the cool thing about F3. There's no cost involved. This has a small nominal cost. And as we learn a little bit more about that, and as the numbers increase or what have you, what is the target? When you were coming into this, what was the target dollar figure? We want to keep it under X. Did you have a target in mind, or did it just, as you started planning it, you started figuring out, what is it going to cost to put on an event like this? So what was the target, and where are you looking at right now for rolling this out in September cost-wise?
Yeah, from the start, our target has been $100. We're like, I think that's the threshold, and that includes, we were really trying to strip out like any extra gear people had to buy, because that had become a really large cost, like getting a ruck and weights and all those things. And so saying, could we do this for $100 per man? And then for even those who can't afford that, can we offer some scholarships and get some guys to sponsor that? So if anybody's impediment was finance, they can simply click on the form, need a scholarship, and we can have their 6 and still pull them in. So we feel like that's been the goal. And so we're kind of backing into that and going, okay, well, if that's where our food cost is, all those pieces, let's buy large tents to sleep under, so these men don't have to buy their own tent. All these different pieces are coming together around that number.
So drive through, talk a little bit about, because you and I really got a chance over the past year to really dive into what makes each other tick, what our families mean to us, what goals we have personally, familial, community wise. And I know that speaks volumes when it comes to you. For all of you guys really, but drive through, I just think of you because we've connected pretty deeply the last time we were in the same space. But what are you hoping to see when it comes to personal impact, when it comes to what you're hoping to gain, but also what you're hoping to see other guys gain?
Yeah. So I'm kind of a sucker for personal challenges of my own accord. They really are the opportunities that I think that those of us that are growth minded and looking to continue to get that 1% better every day or every week, whatever that might be. Disruptor is yet another opportunity to invest in ourselves in that way. And I think the feedback from events like these, it kind of has a built-in feedback effect to it, to where it's either failing a challenge or succeeding at a challenge, learning a little bit more about yourself as far as doing things that you didn't know you could do before, understanding the need to respond in a moment or in a few short moments. And then why did you respond that way? And so I see it as a mirror for myself. I see it as kind of an opportunity to allow others insight into how I'm wired. We often, at least speaking for myself, I can get tunnel vision pretty easily, and I can tell myself that I'm hitting all these priorities the way I want to be hitting them. And events like these really kind of peel back that layer and remove my ability to really be an armchair quarterback for myself. And it gives others around me insight into how am I really performing, and why did I perform in that way, or why did I succeed in that way or fail in that way? And the other aspect of this too is as we've touched on already, is giving it away, is being able to share experiences like these and encouraging other packs to get out there and join us, let their guard down. Events like these really also, they cause us to have to give up some control of our day, control of our week, or control of our weekend, let's say. And that's tough, I think, for a lot of guys. And so we wanted to provide a good, safe place in a big way for guys to do that, and yet also to not sacrifice whatever growth they might get out of this event by allowing themselves to be a part of something bigger than themselves that they probably won't have a whole lot of control over once they get into it. And then just seeing other packs around me, I really enjoyed the GORUCK event in Kansas City, going alongside packs that heading into the event had expressed concern to me about their ability or capability. Am I going to be able to make it through? And just stepping up in to help them, stepping up in to share that burden with them, and then to encourage them along the way.
We've talked about the shared suffering. We've talked about the physical challenges, the team dynamics, and overnight kind of, you're no longer in control, no longer in charge. So that's very similar to different events that a lot of F3 guys have done in the past. You know, if it's a GrowRuck or something else or a GORUCK event, how is this different? How is this a little bit different from the events that a lot of guys have said, I've done that before. Why should I do it again?
Yeah. So one of the main differences that we would kind of dial in on this particular event is we've got local leadership. I don't know that we've necessarily given them titles or specific roles per se, but the guys that are leading this event are local to Wichita. And that is healthy for our particular region in a number of ways. The other aspect too that we are building on a GORUCK-like type event is the ability to have this integrated reflection and connection piece. We are bringing guys together in shield locks, if possible, having shield locks sign up, having guys get involved that maybe don't have a shield lock and they'd like to have a shield lock, but really trying to bring guys tighter and closer into the community and allow their experience to be far more meaningful and go far deeper and much more beyond the event itself by allowing for reflection times and even shared accountability post-event. On the back end of the event, 3 months out, 6 months out. And then the other piece is that it's focused right here in the Wichita area, right here in our communities with those that we walk shoulder to shoulder with in life, and being able to not just invest in those around us, but also seeing the fruits of our labor, right? Seeing the investment pay off. And I think that's important and super, super exciting and encouraging for our local Wichita area.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, like every time IJ and I have had the chance to travel quite a bit because of our roles, and every time you touch down in another region, there's just something great about it that you don't find anywhere else. Every region's got its own pulse, its own salty vets to harken back to what Flenderson said earlier. But those are the things that makes up the DNA of what makes these guys tick, right? And it's really exciting. You guys, in my experience, have a really tight bond. No matter, it's almost like the bigger your region gets, the tighter that bond is. And for example, you and I spent some time. I just remember vividly at the end of the last event we were on together, you found like your 8th wind of the 36 hours, and just were adamant to finish the event strong. And man, did you ever. And then when I saw you back in Wichita the next time, it was like you were just pouring that momentum into other guys. So with that in mind, what are you hoping that the Disruptor will do for the men in Wichita that maybe haven't had that smash mouth experience yet? That wall hasn't been presented to them to bust through. So what is your hope when they come through the other side?
Yeah, so kind of touching on that GrowRuck experience of we sit there through hell for 16 straight hours, right? I mean, it's just misery. You're failing. The guy next to you is picking you up. The guy next to you is going to fail. We're going to pick him up, etc. I think that the difference here that we're kind of trying to push forward to not diminish the hard at all, but to have kind of coachable moments through the hard. I mean, I think about that last GrowRuck, Tommy Boy, where like you talk about that 8th wind. That was not an 8th wind. That was complete failure on my part. And we're army crawling at that point with rucks on our back still, and I got nothing left. And you are insisting you're going to take my ruck from me, and you're just support. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not having this. We're going to keep going. And that sucks. So we want to incorporate some of that, but also kind of those teachable moments to keep the momentum going, where it's not just this like kind of camp experience that we've all experienced at some point in our lives where we're really high for that weekend. But what does it look like moving forward? I think Drive Through touched on this a little bit, where we get to then keep this going throughout our community for the guys that have done this, and have follow-ups and have these moments within individual shield locks, but also on a broader scale of the region as a whole of, hey, here's how we're going to plan for next year. Here's how we're going to keep things going between these next two events. What do things look like? Who can step up? Who can kind of pay it forward at that point?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I dig it.
yeah, the goal for any of these events is for, for you to take what you learn and kind of expand on it. If that means that you expand in your region, great. But if also you take something physically to get stronger and realize there's more in the tank than you realize, but also spiritually, you have those moments of weakness where you know that you want to quit. Everything in your being says you have to quit, you're done, but you find a little bit deeper. I mean, the outcome here is for you to be a better dad and to be a better husband and to be a better leader in your community, better coworker, better boss, better friend. It's to be better. Hey, have you noticed in these hardships, these hard times, that you've learned something about yourself that you didn't know before, that kind of unlocked something that was hidden that you didn't know was there?
Yeah, 100%. So I think something that stuck with me from the GrowRuck event and doing something hard that kept getting said over and over again was, nobody cares what you can do fresh. We all hope to get up in the morning and have our perfect cup of coffee, and then, hey, we're going to kind of get the wheels turning and start our day. You talk about how that impacts the people around you. My kids are regurgitating that now. Nobody cares what you can do fresh. I've got 11 and 9-year-old boys, and it's that moment of, whether they hear the words or whether they just see the actions of a group of us guys going out and doing something like this, I think that's incredibly impactful. And I'd say the same thing for Lucky's kids. I'd say the same thing for Drive-Thru's kids and Flendy's kids, that we're all tight-knit enough and close enough that his kids see me doing hard things, their kids see us, my kids see them doing hard things, and that impact just kind of compounds on itself through the community.
So there are
Which
guys.
is Jeff.
Tommy boy, you see, this is why we can't take time off, because we're gnashing at the bit to say the next thing. Tommy boy, I'm going to shut my mouth. Go ahead. You go.
No, it's fine. I get so fired up when I just hear guys talk about what it like, the responsibility that we hold now that we're unlocked, right? It's like, this is not for us to keep on, a tight grip on. It's for us to let go and hold with an open hand so that others can find what we found, right? IJ, I love your quote always, is we're just beggars showing other beggars where to find bread. So with that, I'm going to segue real quick to Lucky Charms. Of all the hype men I know, one of the top notch hype men. Hopefully I'm on mute and he can't hear me say that. But anyway, Lucky, we've talked about the why and we've talked about the vision for this, but let's get into the nitty gritty as much as we can. There's a lot of things we can't unveil, but if you wouldn't mind diving into what it kind of looks and feels like to show up at Disruptor.
Yeah, I think the ultimate experience, right, is we're trying to create this event in which we can really build resiliency up, right, and lean in and dive into the grit building activities, right? So, like, I mean, everything, if you've been to an F3 beatdown, you're going to experience those types of things here, right? So I think the point Flendy's making this accessible. We're all going to throw our rucks in. I mean, between the local packs here in Wichita, we got enough rucks to go around our crew here that and we have lofty goals. Like, I think we want to get to 100, 125 people. So we're gonna be using our rucks. We're gonna be carrying logs. We're gonna be climbing up hills. We have a beautiful piece of property of 300 odd acres with a river running through it, similar to the movie starring Brad Pitt. And then we're going to be, just like in the mud, in the dirt, doing hard things. I think it's going to start out not necessarily with a welcome party, but a healthy ruck to kick the event off. And so I think there's a little bit of that, and like, we don't want to reveal too much because the anticipation of not knowing what's happening. I mean, I remember that first GT43 standing there in a field at 5:45 going like, what am I supposed to do? And oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I want that little bit of that my trauma system to be engaged a little bit to absorb like what's happening. And then I think Drive-Thru made the point, like, you don't know what's going to happen. You're not in control. And as most men, we don't like not knowing what's going to happen. We don't like giving up control. And so part of that is the space we want to create with a lot of feedback loops and with a lot of coaching. And I think one thing we haven't really mentioned yet is, we are going to use the content that F3 has created, QSOURCE, Afterburner, those types of, you guys are, obviously we've invited Tommy Boy and Italian Job to come and help facilitate this, because we believe in what F3 has what their mission of F3, and we believe in the content because we've seen it work time and time again. And so we're embracing that, creating that space, and applying the content in those hard events. So I would love to be able to say, we just talked about, here's a lesson we just talked about, and we're running up a hill, and we get to now debrief on that specific piece of content, and then do it again, and then do it again, and give the feedback loop. And I think we're all hinting at it. And one of the points that we love about GrowRuck, but also I think we're trying to improve upon, is the giving multiple people the chance to lead, and then giving multiple opportunities for feedback, AAR, and then testing it again, and then allowing a man to be unlocked right then and there. I mean, what an opportunity. And that's the goal. Create the space, doing some hard, stupid stuff.
So there are guys who are listening and they're saying, this sounds really cool. I wonder if I can get out there. What are the dates? Are we talking one night, overnight event starting on a Friday? Are we talking Friday, Saturday, rolling into Sunday? What are we talking about? And if a guy is interested, how does he find out more and register?
Yeah, Flendy or Drive-Thru, you want to take that?
Totally. Happy to. September the 19th to the 21st. Am I getting my dates right, guys? This is
that's correct.
Dates and me. There we go. So Friday night, 6 p.m., Sunday morning, 10 a.m. So we're extending the time more than the average event, so that we can go deeper in groups, that we can debrief, that we can take lessons away, that we can have some fun activities in the midst of the chaos and hard. And so if they want to see more about it, go to f3wichita.com. There's a webpage all about it. We'd love to connect with them. It's going to be an all-in kind of all weekend experience.
What fires me up the most about this event is we've been on multiple calls together, right? And traded notes and shop secrets. And it's like this multi-day event is like summiting Everest, right? You go to base camp 1 and it's a stretch, right? Everybody thinks you just show up at base camp, but that's anybody who's seen any documentary or been there themselves knows that's not the case. You've got to work to get to base camp 1 and get used to the climate and all of those, altitude, everything. And then you go to base camp 2, but you don't go to base camp 3. You go back down and reacclimate and go to base camp 1, right? So this whole concept before these guys reach the peak is acclimating up and down, stress, relief. And you guys built this thing where it's like from the jump, it's applied stress, right? Which is no secret when it comes to GrowRuck and GORUCK. It's applied stress, limited visibility. How are you going to adapt and modify? And are you going to overcome? And then you guys not break is the wrong word, but there's a moment of relief, right? Where guys can process and that head knowledge can drop to the heart. And then you tighten the screws even more. And it's push. And then there's a moment to reflect again. And none of this is meant to be done alone, right? And I think that's the real power, is just when you think it's over, it's only just begun. And everybody else is having the same exact response. Who is going to show up? Which is that phrase alone, that no one is coming, is so ingrained in your guys' DNA. And what you've done with that phrase through volunteers' experiences at GrowRuck, I think that's a life-changing moment. And you guys have turned it into this multi-day event that's going to do the same for countless other men. I'm really proud of you. Hey, I'm going to start with you. What's kind of a final thought you have, or a final hope? Or what kind of trash do you want to talk to anybody who might be on the fence?
Yeah, I think I won't go full trash talk, but I think it's one of those that as we were prepping for GrowRuck, there was a group of 10 of us that was that original group that, I was the last one in, and it's intimidating. It's that fear of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hack it. So I think what I want to communicate from this end, and back to kind of echoing what Flendy said on accessibility, is, yes, we're going to have some training that goes into this, but it is not going to be something that needs to be so intimidating on that front end that the average Joe can't show up and do this.
And I'll go around the horn. Drive-Thru, you're next on my list, man.
Yeah, I think what I would say to that is, if you're looking for renewal or clarity as a leader, as a man, if you are wanting to, and no matter what level you think you might be hitting as far as your level of success, hitting those priorities that you have in your life, if you want to give yourself a true litmus test as to whether or not you are hitting everything that you think you are, I think this event is for you. And I'd highly encourage you to take that next step and allow yourself that mirror in front of you, and then if anything, take it what you can from it, and then be ready to share it when you leave.
Absolutely. Lucky, you handsome beast.
Yeah, man, I think what's so cool about this, man, the vision that we have, and obviously we've gotten from F3 and our experiences, the goal that we wanted, that we're trying to live out here, is taking the guys who are in their shield locks through this event, because we all know that we've done a GROWRUCK event. I mean, I'm still buddies with the random Houston dude that I was by the whole night, right? And we have a bond that's like will never be broken. Like if he called me tomorrow and said, I need you to help me move, I would do it, because Hang Loose is a stud and he was with me all night, and we were just grinding, man. And so like, what an opportunity for a bunch of local guys to go through this event together, to form that bond, and then to live it out, and then to have some really intentional calls, meetings, afterburner type classes in which we're really going to poke and prod. But I think like if the question that I would have asked you or anybody considering this is, one, do you think that you don't need this? Then you probably do need this, because you got an ego problem. Number one. Number two is, do you think that you're too soft for it, or that you're not up for it? Like you are, man. We need you. We need what you can bring to the table. We all do. And I think that this is going to be accessible to the masses. We want, whether or not you're going to be a top performer, it's not about that. It's about the journey that you're going to go through the weekend. Ideally, Flendy said, and like we're all saying, you look forward to it to the next year, because it is something that you can foundationally build your year on, and then pass that reinvigoration on to your community, which is ultimately the mission. And ultimately, because we care about the packs, we care about each other, we care about our community, everybody owes it to themselves to put themselves in a situation like this, to be challenged, and then discover, where am I weak, where am I soft, and how do I lean on the people around me to shine that light and to encourage me along the way.
So Flenderson,
Well,
you started us off. Tommy boy, I'm stealing it. I'm taking it away from you. Flenderson, you started us off, gave us kind of a rundown. So final thoughts from you, but also for guys who are listening, what can they do from afar? If they can't attend, but they say, this is really cool and I'd like to participate somehow, some way. So final thoughts from you, and what can a guy who's calling for or listening in from a region, can't make it down there, what can he do to support you?
Yeah. Final thought for me, a year from now, I think the goal for me is that we would have men who came and said, man, that was tough. Man, that sucked. But I'm not going to miss it again, because of myself, because of my because of my 2.0. And they're saying I was a better dad, a better father all around, because of what that set in my year, and because of the community I developed right here, proximate in Wichita, and what it drove me throughout the year. And so it becomes this thing you just do over and over because it's set in your year. So that's the goal. And that's what we really want to call them into. For those who can't come, can't participate, number one, we're going to have some live portions throughout F3 Wichita online. So we'd love for them to join that way, to stay connected with us. We certainly love the prayers, man. I mean, this is a big event. We don't know what we're doing. We're pulling this thing out of our ears just like everybody else. And so we're going to figure it out. And so we love prayers for safety, but also prayers for wisdom, and to make sure that we're hitting the mark there. And then, if men feel the call and want a scholarship, guys, or help us get tents or anything in between, man, we're happy to have you help us make this more accessible to other men. So we'd be glad to join in on any of that.
I'm excited about what it's over 300 acres. I know we mentioned it before, but I mean, you guys are bringing an experience that will literally and figuratively put guys through water, fire, flame, and hopefully just come out the other side reinvigorated and ignited, right? And ready to really explode in their full potential, to give it away to these guys that haven't found you yet. To me, this is kind of the perfect example of what we're hoping other men do when they find F3. We can show you how to run faster. We can show you how to do more push-ups. We can show you how to buy gear, how to build a shovel flag. But what we can't specifically show you is how to invigorate community leadership in your area, because it looks different. The need is different. The people that you're serving are different. And so you guys have not only found a way, but have fully leaned into the methodology behind it and have created this. I mean, I look at this list of things that are about to happen in September. It's insane. And yet if you dig a layer deeper, you find all this methodology behind it and what these guys are going to walk away with. I mean, they're dude toolbox is going to be overflowing with opportunities. So I applaud you guys. Podcasters, if you're, those of you who are listening, you're looking for a next step other than jumping on the F3 Wichita website, hop on their YouTube channel, type in the volunteer story and do yourself a favor and see what it means to take something that happened to someone and they convert it into the first day of the rest of their lives. And then how they take that momentum and just smash through other obstacles that are blocking other guys. So the volunteer story on F3 Wichita's YouTube page. Get after it. IJ, final thoughts, my man.
So I read something the other day, and I've said it before, and I don't think I've said it here, but there's something called eat the frog first. I don't know if you've heard this before, but anytime you are facing something difficult, I mean, you have to tackle difficult or unpleasant tasks. The first thing, it's best to do it first thing in the morning, whatever that thing is, because there's something that's lurking. And instead of procrastinating and waiting and making it less palatable later in the day, you got to eat the frog first thing in the morning. And I think about that. You don't stare at it too long, just knock it out of the way. This is one of those opportunities. The frog is going to be there and you're going to have to deal with it. We've all sat at the beginning of one of these events wondering, am I good enough? Am I strong enough? Can I do this? And maybe I didn't drink enough water. Maybe I don't feel like I can carry the same weight as some of the guys that are around me, but you get through it. But the first step is taking that step. The first thing you have to do is sign up and say, I'm going to eat the frog, because this is something that prepares you for bigger things in life that come after. It may not be something as strenuous as this weekend, but I promise you, the tools that you're going to garnish and you're going to learn about yourself from an event like this are going to prepare you for the next step in your life, whatever that is, whatever that next challenge is. If you can't be there, do something hard, eat the frog first. But if you can be there, it's going to bless your life and it's going to do something internally in you and unlock you and find something deeper for greater purpose. And I'm excited to see it happen. TB, I love you, bro. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been too long, my friend. Love you right back at you. Lucky, Flendy, drive through. You guys have built a Frankenstein that I can't wait to see. Fired up for what you're going to do. Glad to be a part of it. I know I'm speaking for IJ when we say how honored we are that we were asked to participate. And to the guys out there, if you're looking for a true north on how to kick down a wall, look to Wichita and let us know what you're doing in your region, because we want to talk to you next. There are many men who are unlocked that are seeking a target to destroy. Let us know what that is. Let's talk about it. Until then, be good or be good at it.